there's a wealth of life here in Morialta Nature Reserve. Spotted a koala in the woods on the eucalyptus trees up there, and interestingly there's also a few lizards as well I spotted, but interestingly there's a few invasive species here as well. So there's just rabbits just chilling on the ground, which is very mind-blowing considering that rabbits are not native to Australia. But what's happened is there's been an introduction when the European settlers came in. They introduced rabbits to the area, and yeah, now you have a lot of invasive species in Australia. One of them being the cane toad as well. So the cane toad was introduced into Australia to help alleviate a pest problem, and then itself it became a pest and caused a lot of mayhem for wildlife. But I've learned recently that the resilience of nature, you know, and subhanAllah, the way nature adapts to very unfamiliar conditions, such as when we move in or when we bring in invasive species. And an example of that is the cane toad. So for years, many Australians thought the cane toad was a very difficult situation to alleviate, a very big problem, because the cane toad it was brought in to eat specific pests, but it became it started eating the native wildlife, the native insects, the native creatures in Australia. And the issue with the cane toad is it's a poisonous creature, so when you eat it, it poisons you, and this caused immense problems for Australian wildlife, caused many species to become extinct in Australia. Not extinct, but to become near endangered in Australia. Many species that inhabited these lands, they've retreated into very small pockets and communities because of the impact of the cane toad. But subhanAllah, it's a beautiful story that now the Australian animals are learning to adapt to the cane toad. So now you have this native rodent in Australia called the Rakali, which has learned to flip the cane toad, I believe, on its back and just eat out certain organs of the cane toad, avoiding the poisonous ones. The snakes in Australia, so I think it's the tiger snake, I believe. It's like a black snake with a red belly. One of those black snakes with a red belly in Australia. Their head has actually begun to shrink because of the effects of the cane toad. Because now, when it has a smaller head, it can't swallow a cane toad. Like the ones with a smaller head can't swallow a cane toad fully. So slowly they've adapted to become, or you could say evolved to become, ones with smaller heads. So there's another example of how nature is adapting to the cane toad. And a few other creatures, a few other snakes, I believe, are learning to become, they're getting a bit more resistance to the poison of the cane toad. And remember, poison is when you ingest it and it makes you, and it has effects on you, whereas venom is when it injects you and it affects you. So like, for example, a snake is venomous because a snake bites down on you and injects the substance into you, whereas that same snake can also not be poisonous, because if you eat it, then it's fine, if you get rid of the venom glands, of course. But yeah, I just thought that would be an interesting story to share with you. There's a lot of bad news out there about invasive species everywhere, especially in Australia with its unique wildlife. But I think this is a beautiful story that we can all learn from. So thanks for watching.